Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. As always, we have a lot of important information to share with you here this week, so please feel free to share this video with your friends, family, relatives, and anyone else you think might find this information helpful over the course of the coming week. We're going to start off by talking about the upcoming election. The city clerk's office let me know earlier this morning that just over 2,200 mail-in ballots were sent out to voters across the city. Now, you only receive a mail-in ballot if you sent back your postcard requesting one. So we know that just over 2,200 people are going to be receiving their ballots by mail. There is still time for you to send in that postcard if you want to receive your ballot by mail. And you can contact the city clerk's office for any information on obtaining a mail-in ballot, where you can find the form to fill out, what needs to be done, and that information that goes along with that process. Now, with the new Votes Act that was passed by the legislature and signed by Governor Baker earlier this year, we are also required to do 2 weeks of full mail-in voting, full in-person early voting here in Gardner as well. So the schedule for that will be as follows. On Saturday, October 22nd, Perry Auditorium will be open from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for people to come in early vote. Monday, October 24th through Friday, October 29th, City Hall's auditorium will be open as a polling location for early voters from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, October 30th, City Hall will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for early voting, and that is also the last day that you can register to vote in the upcoming November 8th election. So if you'd like to either register to vote because you've either moved or you've recently turned 18, or you'd like to early vote, you can do so on that day as well. And then on Monday, October 31st through Friday, November 4th, there'll be early voting in Perry Auditorium, regular business hours here at City Hall, so 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on Monday through Thursday, and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Friday. And for any information on that, you can contact the city clerk's office. But again, as always, there will be regular voting on election day itself, Tuesday, November 8th, at the different polling locations: Ward 1 at the Elks, Ward 2 at the library, Ward 3 here at Gardner City Hall, Ward 4 at the Gardner Police Station, and Ward 5 at the Polish American Citizens Club. So again, several different ways that you can vote here. And like we started this off with, 2,200 people are already receiving their ballot in the mail to start voting now. So again, any questions on any of the election procedures for the upcoming November 8th election, you can contact the city clerk's office and talk to TT Sirafan, our city clerk, John Oliveri, or Faith Glover. The other thing that we just want to remind people is that while there are several different early voting options, there is a deadline for which mail-in votes have to be sent in. So they have to be postmarked on or before election day. If they're received after so many days after the election, they actually don't count. And there is no early in-person voting on Monday, November 7th. Early voting ends in person on the Saturday before election day. So don't get confused on the several different options that are out there. It's great we have several different ways people can vote, but we want to make sure that you understand the process and don't get confused, because there are so many different things out there for people to utilize. My office is currently working with the building department to work on our taxi ordinance that we have here in the city of Gardner. We've actually got 3 or 4 taxi cab companies that are interested in coming and opening up in Gardner within the next two to 3 years. I'd guess they'd be able to open up. And I want to thank our economic development coordinator, Jessica DeRoy, for her work in really helping those businesses along with the Small Business Administration, getting their startup costs and their startup procedures really taken care of there. But I do want to throw out there that one of the things that is going to be cleaned up in this ordinance proposal that we'll soon to be submitting to the City Council is that right now the current ordinance doesn't have anything that covers rideshare programs, so Uber, Lyft, and things like that. But it's also very confusing as to whether or not they should follow those procedures there. So we are going to be proposing an ordinance to clean that up and make it so that it's clear that rideshare programs do not fall under the same standards as taxi cab companies and aren't subject to the annual permitting, annual fees, medallion costs, and things of that nature that are there. So more information on that will come up as we present that ordinance to the City Council for their consideration in the future. Just to clarify the intent of the current ordinance that was written before Uber and Lyft were a thing and different rideshare programs. So I want to thank everyone who's involved, and this is just one of those examples as things evolve and time goes on, new things come up that weren't thought of before, so we have to adjust as the times require. So looking forward to getting that proposal sent to the City Council soon as well. The Gardner and every city and town across Massachusetts actually does benefit from every time a rideshare is initiated within the city, we actually get a nickel off of every ride that gets initiated here. Right now we average around $3,000 a year, but there's a lot more communities that make a lot more, including Leominster, that takes in about $45,000 a year. So by making this ordinance, we're hoping to at least make that a little easier for people to do here as they move forward. Sheriff Lou Evangelitis, who's the sheriff of Worcester County, stopped by Gardner this past week to drop off just over 300 coats to different nonprofits here in the city of Gardner, including the Gardner CAC, Alyssa's Place Peer Recovery Center, and the Montechusett Veterans Outreach Center. So I want to say a very special thank you to Sheriff Lou for dropping off those coats every year. The sheriff's office drops off brand new, non-used coats every year, and it always starts here in Gardner with his campaign across Worcester County. And those 300 coats, I'm sure, are going to go to help a lot of people this year. So I just want to, again, say thank you for that commitment there to those who are really vulnerable and cold in the winter months that are coming up. And really just making sure people feel secured and safe here in their own home. With that said, I also do want to wish a special congratulations to Alyssa's Place Peer Recovery Center for expanding in downtown Gardner. Alyssa's Place recently moved on September 1st to occupy the former Gardner Travel Agency as well. So that first floor storefront, we've got another one filled here in downtown Gardner with the great work that Alyssa's Place is doing at the old Gardner Travel Agency. Now you'll see the sign soon changed from Gardner Travel Agency to Gardner Travel Building to honor the past of what was done over at that building before. But it's great to see that we're able to take another vacant storefront and really fill it with something that we know we're going to get people in the door and really work with the people in this community in providing the services that they need when they need it in a place that they don't have to go far from their home from. So thank you very much to Alyssa's Place Peer Recovery Center and the AED Foundation for their continued investment, not only in us in the community, but in our downtown as well. This past week, the Relay for Life ended their formal 2022 fundraising campaign here in Gardner and kicked off their 2023 fundraising efforts as well at the Polish American Citizens Club this past week. The Relay for Life actually started here in Gardner the year I was born. And it's been a great staple of our community that we've seen then, with people coming to the city to support each other and really be there for people who those around the track may never know, may never see their face, or may never know their name. But we know that as a community, we stand together when people are in situations that they just need help and just, a neighbor to be with and rely on. So I want to thank the, coordinating committee for the Relay for Life and everyone who's involved in really making that event the success that it has been and the staple that it's become here in our community for people who are there. Growing up with the Relay for Life, it's just an event that was just something you did growing up, and it really instilled a very strong spirit of community spirit in me, and I know several other people who I went to school with and are my contemporaries and peers in the city too, because we knew in June that event was there, and we knew the reason why that event was there. So it helped instill that community spirit and really giving spirit that we are very blessed to have so largely here in the city of Gardner. So I want to thank everyone who's involved in continuing that tradition here as it moves on closer to 30 years, almost 3 decades in Gardner and counting, and the millions of dollars that have been raised through the efforts of those who are involved. So thank you very much for continuing that here in Gardner. We want to give a brief shout out here to remind people that there is a special poll going on online right now. Gardner Public Schools is a finalist in a contest put on by the St. Gobain Manufacturing Company out of Worcester. The winning high school in central Massachusetts is getting a $50,000 donation to that school's manufacturing program. And our manufacturing program at Gardner High School is doing quite well and started just over 2 years ago with our tech and engineering teachers at Gardner High. So we're asking everyone to please go on to the Gardner Public Schools website and Gardner Public Schools Facebook page and vote for Gardner High in that poll. There is no limit on the number of times that you can vote in this poll that's there. So we're doing as much as we can to make sure Gardner High comes on top so we can get that $50,000 infusion into our manufacturing program that already right now is giving students industry credentials by the time they graduate from high school and move on to their postgraduate careers in either the workforce or in their collegiate endeavors. So if you can, please go to the Gardner Public Schools website, gardnerk12.org, or the Gardner Public Schools Facebook page, and continue to vote for Gardner High School in that St. Gobain Challenge so that we can, bring that money back home to Gardner and really help our students as best we can here at Gardner Public Schools. The Gardner Community Action Team through our city prevention coordinator and our Board of Health, Veronica Patty, is going to be hosting the 6th annual prevention conference on October 21st from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. in Perry Auditorium of Gardner City Hall. This is an event that we are asking people to pre-register for so that we can really know how much food we need to buy and coordinate what needs to be set up in the auditorium. So for more information on this, you can contact the Gardner Board of Health and speak to our prevention coordinator, Veronica Patty, or find information on the city's website or Facebook page. We want to try to make this a very positive, constructive, and successful event here in Gardner. So thank you very much, Veronica, for putting this on again for the 6th year. And we want to make sure that if you want to attend, there's nothing barring you from attending. So even if you need to call my office, we can put you in touch with the right people to register for that event. Lastly, I just want to let all of our viewers here know about a couple of events that we have coming up that are really quiet events in a way in that there's no formal ceremony with them, but you'll see City Hall lit up different colors coming up. Over this coming weekend, you'll see City Hall lit up blue and pink in recognition that October is nationally recognized as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, and we know that this is something that has affected several people here in the Gardner community. And then again, next Friday is actually nationally recognized as Polish American Heritage Day in the United States. So City Hall will be lit up red, and of course every Friday we do have Simi's food truck with Polish food set up in front of Gardner City Hall anyway. So if that's a way to celebrate, we'll make the most out of it there and certainly have a fun time with some great food. And the last thing that I just want to close out on is remind people that this weekend is the annual bazaar over at Holy Family Academy at the Holy Rosary Church of Annunciation Parish. The poutines and râpé are on sale on a set schedule, and of course the annual other events that happen with the annual bazaar, including the annual Sunday turkey dinner, are all back. So thank you very much to Father Stephen Lundrigan, the pastor of Annunciation Parish, and Mrs. Colette Gogan, the principal of Holy Family Academy, formerly Holy Rosary School and Sacred Heart School, for putting that event on every year. And it's a lot of good happening in Gardner this weekend, so make sure you get out and enjoy what we have to offer here as a city. However, that concludes this week's update. As always, if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact my office at any time, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thank you very much, and have a great day.